How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today we are taking a look at my favorite knives from the entire year that come in under $300. A couple of notes before we get started. I have done end of the year videos on my favorite folding knives that come in under $200, $100, and $50. I've also done my favorite full-size fixed blades of the year, EDC fixed blades of the year, and micro EDC fixed blades of the year. I'll link all those videos down in the description in case you haven't saw one of those videos or you just want to check one of them videos out. They will be down there and I'll have them labeled for you. I will also link all the knives you see in the video today down in the description, and I'll keep them in order. That way they are nice and easy to find. Now, there might be a couple that may or may not be in stock. I know there's one that is definitely not in stock right now, but I'm going to link it anyway, just in case you're watching this at a later date, might have a chance at picking one up. If you're new to the channel here and you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe because I release daily videos. And as always, let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Now, I don't want to go too in-depth with each knife. That way we can try to keep this as short and sweet as possible because we got quite the list to go over. A couple of honorable mentions first, and this knife would be much higher, but it is not available right now, so I didn't want to put it on the final list, but it definitely would have been, and it would have been high on the list. And I'm talking about the Devo Knives Fireball. This is a Stasa design in collaboration with Devo Knives. Fantastic everyday carry knife. Beautiful sheep's foot blade coming in S90V. Very well done S90V, I might add. And if you want, more testing and video footage of that type of stuff, you can always check out Stasa's channel. I'll link that down below as well. Has a beautiful satin finish on it. We have carbon fiber and titanium for the handle material, and there are several different variations of this knife that will be available. They are working on doing a second run. I believe it's either started or it's getting ready to be started. You can always tune in over there for more info. We have a nice milled tie clip. Great access to the liner, insane amount of access. There would be absolutely no complaint from anyone about that. We have a nice sharpening choil. It's a great size, very comfortable, and this thing's going to be a slicing and utility machine. Definitely, if you didn't get a chance to get one of these, I bought one myself, and I absolutely love it. Keep your eye out. If you didn't get a chance to get one, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for the second run. And I wanted to add in a fun one. We got a couple fun ones actually to go over. This is the version 2 TiSlide from Daily Carry Co. This is getting an honorable mention because it's not technically a new design for the year, but it did go through a massive change. And I said, what would make this gravity knife complete is having a milled tie clip, and now that they are under new ownership, that is actually the case, and it just changed the entire game for this gravity knife. We're looking at a satin finished Tanto blade in M390 and then a full titanium handle with the milled tie clip. You are using magnets to keep that handle closed either when it's open or closed, and it's just a fun EDC knife that is finally complete because of that pocket clip. Daily Carry Co., now that they're under new ownership, I think we're going to see some more exciting things from them in 2025. And starting us off, we have the Yakuza. Yakuza and Reich are a company that have blown me off my feet this year, and they are definitely on the map for me. The Yakuza here is definitely an eye catcher. This knife is extremely comfortable. The only reason this is so low on the list is I wish it had just a little bit better access to that lock bar in order for it to be any higher. But I love this dual ground Tanto style blade. It's coming in M390. In my experience, it has performed very well. I've seen, other videos on testing of it, and it performed well. I'm a big fan of what Yakuza and Reich are doing. They have some of the most unique designs that are going to be extremely well made. Just love what they're doing. They're not afraid to do something different, and it really shows in their work, and they really care about the quality that they're putting out there. We have a full tie backspacer here, just really nice with an integrated lanyard hole and a nice milled clip. We have copper infused carbon fiber, and then the detent and action are just out of this world good. Absolutely love what they're doing, and we're not done checking out knives from them. And next up, we got the EMP EDC USA made Pulse. This thing is awesome. This is in collaboration with Axial. They make some fantastic knives over there, and their OTFs are out of this world good, especially the price point that they are. This is going to be coming in Magna Cut. There are different blade shapes and different finishes that you can get. Going to be textured aluminum handles. You have a titanium switch, and you have a textured milled titanium clip. And these come in well under $300, which is really impressive. And just a big fan of this knife. It is extremely comfortable because everything is closed off. You have this nice milled clip. You have a really well done switch, so it's easy to open and close this knife, and it doesn't get fatiguing on the thumb. And because of the different blade shapes, tanto, sheep's foot, it just gives you the ability to really make, you know, the best choice for you. And there might even be another blade shape as well in the USA made line, and I think some of these are available right now as well. I actually just checked for you. There are 2 different versions available. He's got one with a sheep's foot blade available and one version with the tanto blade, and they come in at $260. USA made, Magna Cut, fantastic OTF at $260. Easy top 20 knife of the year. Next up, we have the CMB Knives Devourer, and this knife could have been higher. This list was very tough for me to make. And to point out also, if you don't see a certain knife that you think should be on the list, let us know what it is by the end of the video. But keep in mind, I don't handle every single knife, you know, throughout the year, and some knives just aren't available, so that's another reason they're not pictured. But going back into the CMB Devourer here, it's going to be coming in M390, done at 60 to 62 on the uncoated version, which this is right here. Very futuristic looking design. I told you we had some fun stuff, but this knife is really comfortable. It's really out there. But in the same vein, I like the fact that CMB is not afraid to do some different designs and really pull them off. You have these nice thumb discs here for deployment, as well as a front flipper. You are looking at a button lock for your locking mechanism, and then they have anodized titanium handles, backspacer, and pocket clip. Very comfortable, and I love the size of this knife. I love the blade shape. Just a very utility driven everyday carry knife that definitely lands in the more futuristic realm. And here again, next up, guys, this knife could have been so much higher. It's just, it was tough for me. I fell in love with this knife, and I carried it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I used the hell out of it. The Concept Link, just a fantastic looking knife, and just very, very well done. Triple stripe knives. These are coming in 20 CV. We have a harpoon drop point blade. Very thin here on this straight primary, and then it kind of thickens up as it goes to the tip. Just a very, very nice knife and a great EDC. You got this large cutout, you have these thumb studs, and you have that oversized front flipper that just works like a dream. We have a black coated titanium lock side and a black wash tie clip and backspacer, and then we have the Gecko carbon fiber on the show side. And this knife does come in several different variations. Great access to that lock bar. This thing is just a workhorse, and great blade shape in my opinion. It's got that nice low tip. It's a good size, mid-sized knife, and very well done from Concept. They have killed it all year, and we're not done checking Concepts out for the year either. Next up, we got the Real Steel Evolution. love the hell out of this knife as well. It comes in 2 different blade shapes, drop point and tanto. This is the tanto, obviously. And they also have new versions of this out with carbon fiber and different versions that you can choose from. They originally dropped in this, and that was it. But I love this heavy washed look. Very utility-driven aesthetic, going to take wear and tear very well, and it did. We're looking at a very heavy tumbled tanto blade, and these came in S35VN. Very good, nice oversized thumb studs. The action on this thing is phenomenal. Textured titanium handle. Backspacer is full length and very well executed. This is a Carson design. We have a we have a tie clip that is a fold over style clip, and then we do have a little glass breaker down here at the bottom. But the claim to fame for this knife, and as far as I know, this was the first one, but this is a button frame lock, and whoo-wee, does that just change the game for a button lock. You get that true detent, you get the strength of the frame lock opposed to the plunge lock, and this does have a secondary safety that you have to deliberately slide up or down. So it's not gimmicky in that sense, and you know, it's a secondary lock for that button. You can choose to use it or not. But let me tell you what, this thing is comfortable in more ways than one. Just a workhorse. That low tanto blade like that, I like them personally. I know some people don't like tantos, and that's okay. They have drop points as well, like I said. Real Steel has also done a phenomenal job in 2024. Next up, we have the off-grid knives. Mamba version 3. Fantastic knives. I love off-grid. This is coming from Best Tech. That is who OEM this. Going to be coming in Magna Cut steel. They have a couple different versions of this. This is the gray finish with the Coyote titanium. You have that kind of golf putter style finish on this titanium handle. And we do have a nice deep carry clip that's recessed and will be left-hand friendly. They also include a nice titanium filler tab there. Good access to the lock bar with a nice chamfer. Great flipper action on this and a very well done flipper design. Best Tech kills the builds, and Off-Grid Knives does a fantastic job on their actual hard use, heavy use style knives. That's what you are going to get with Off-Grid. If you're looking for a cutting tool, they are a great company to check out. So next up, we have the Farrah Monster Urban Grip. I actually have 2 of these, and the other one is the one I beat the hell out of, but this is the prettier one. Farrah Monster is a company that really came out of nowhere, but boy, did they make a splash. I checked them out early in 2024, and I was the first one actually to check them out, and man, they have blown me away. I've checked out 4. I think they have like 3 models, but I've checked out at least 4 different knives from them throughout the year, and just they all perform very well. They all come in M390. This one has a nice satin finish drop point blade, and I know they are expecting more designs in 2025. Fantastic detent and action from that flipper tab, and very well done. 60 to 62 on the M390. We have titanium with carbon fiber for our inlay. Beautiful carbon fiber, and they come in several different variations. I have a coated blade version as well, and then we have a matching titanium backspacer and matching milled titanium clip. Great access to that lock bar, and I've said in the past I put the quality up with Best Tech and the likes of them as far as the quality that I feel out of this knife, and if you listen to anyone else, they'll tell you similar things just like that. Definitely keep your eye on Farrah Monster in 2025. So I'm an idiot, and this knife was actually supposed to come after the Yakuza, and it didn't. So technically, this is number 18. So either way, I'll have it linked down below, and it'll be in some semblance of order. This is the Remet Leopard, and it was low on the list only because I haven't had a ton of time with this knife. Now, I have had several different experiences with their M390. I've seen a lot of testing on it as well, and for me it's been great, and I've seen great results from everyone else, so I just assume, but it is a little bit lower on the list just because I haven't had it for too long. But the Leopard here, we're looking at M390, beautiful drop point blade. I love the size of this. I usually prefer a larger knife, but in the case of this one, I don't know. I just absolutely love this size. They have a locking mechanism that is all their own. That is their own design locking mechanism for these gravity knives. And I gotta say, this is probably my favorite gravity knife to date. I've handled several different styles and brands, and I have to say, I think this is my favorite one right here. It's so well done, and that lock is really well executed. Textured titanium, and I believe those are all little tritium slots, and we have a milled tie clip. Carried this thing for weeks and weeks, and I still am carrying it on and off here. But if you're looking for a solid gravity knife, check out Remet because they have a couple of different models. Next up, we have the Katuo Meridian. Coming in M390, nice drop point blade. I love that blasted finish that they do. Nice sharpening choil. Flipper tab for deployment. Incredibly good flipper action. And an awkward design flipper. But man, very, very satisfying. Another beautiful knife from Katua. Love that custom style pivot there. Very good looking knife. Coming in titanium backspacer, and a milled tie clip with the little ball bearing. Good access to the lock bar. Incredibly good action on the open and close. Perfectly centered, very comfortable and neutral handle. And this is a large size folder, no question about it. If you like a larger folder that has some very clean aesthetics, check out the Katuo Meridian. Next up, we got the Kubi Momentum here in its premium form. This is, it's technically not a new design, but it's been redesigned into a premium version. So I made some exceptions with this one, but I wanted to put it on here to show what Kubi's capable, because I don't have a ton of stuff from them to put into this range. So kind of a caveat with this one, but deal with it. This is one of the best knives Kubi has ever produced, and I've checked out a lot of Kubi's premium knives, just not this year, but I've checked out a couple, but this is one of the best knives they have ever done. We're looking at M390. We have a PVD coated drop point blade, dual thumb studs, front flipper, nice sharpening choil, very, very good action on this knife. We have this nice micro milled titanium handle, and it'll be hard to see, but look at the little milling in there. It's just really, really well done. We have a milled tie clip, milled titanium backspacer, and a hidden lanyard post back there. Great access to the lock bar. It's been chamfered and jimped. Excellent job. It just feels very, very high quality. And like I said, the opening and closing action is buttery smooth. These are available right now, I believe, and would definitely be worth a look. And this one just makes the list at $300. Love this knife. I think they just sold out as of like this week, right around Christmas time. So if this isn't available, I'm sorry. I think there are other versions of it available. It's just this particular one isn't in stock. But we're looking at the Artisan Cutlery Kami here, and we have a recurve drop point blade coming in S35. Beautiful finish, that sand polish finish that they do. We have thumb disc here for deployment along with a rear flipper tab. Very, very nice action and detent. Thumb discs aren't for everyone, but I like them in this case. It's going to be a fingerprint magnet. We're looking at titanium handles that have beautiful micro milling on the chamfered edges. Just very good attention to detail from Artisan. They have really come a long way in 2024. Just look at that. Beautiful job. And then we have a full Damascus kit on this thing. Pivot collars, backspacer, clip, and our other collar. great access to the, I wouldn't say great access. That's kind of what knocks this down a few points. Decent access with a chamfer, but that's about the only knock on this knife that I have. I won't knock the recurve because I actually enjoy it in this case. And just using a sharpening rod right there on that little portion, well, I'm a novice at sharpening, but I just use a rod to kind of touch that up, and it has worked just fine for me any which way. I love how the handle locks you in as well. It's curved out at the end, and then you have the flipper kind of acting like a guard, kind of like an old school tactical style knife, but just would make a nice gentleman's EDC, kind of classy EDC knife in my opinion. But the Artisan Cutlery Kami here, really outstanding job from Artisan Cutlery. Next up, we got the Tuya Wraith version 2. Absolutely love this knife to death. We're looking at S90V. We have a dual ground Tanto style blade, and this thing comes down nice and thin, thickens up going back up to the tip there for a little bit of added protection for that tip. But just a great EDC size and blade shape in my opinion. Nice generous choil. You have dual thumb studs and a front flipper for deployment. Dave there at Tuya does a phenomenal job, and this is one of his designs. We have a titanium handle, backspacer, and pocket clip, and then this one has carbon fiber inlays. They have several different versions, and then here again, we have great access, a chamfer, and jimping. That is the way that it's done right there. It's comfortable. It's just clean. It looks great. Makes the knife feel very premium, and it is, in my opinion. The Tuya Wraith version 2, definitely a fantastic everyday carry knife. Next up, we got the Jack Wolf knives, Bionic Jack, and you could put a couple different Jack Wolfs in here, I think. And I like I said, this list was really hard for me to make, but the Bionic Jack, I carried the hell out of this knife. I used the hell out of it, and it just keeps cutting. It's so comfortable. I love the clip point blade. I love the heavy finish on the blade. S90V, nice sharpening choil. You have this fuller here and front flipper for the deployment. And this was my first Jack Wolf that had an exposed frame lock. And I have to say, I almost prefer this over the bolster. That's just me personally. But one thing that makes these knives extremely comfortable is you have that full length backspacer made out of titanium. It is anodized to match the hardware and the titanium clip. Just very comfortable. If you're looking for a gentleman's EDC with a very traditional vibe, man, Jack Wolf is going to be hard to beat, especially with that hollow ground S90V and a full-length titanium backspacer to make it extremely comfortable. Then you have good access to that lock bar, and on top of all that, it is fun and it is fidgety. The Bionic Jack, or insert any one of the Jack Wolves you wish. A slight edit for number 8, the Jack Wolf. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm an idiot. This knife is actually over the $300 price point the locking knives are. And originally I had a slip joint here from Jack Wolf, and then I switched it and wasn't thinking at the time. So the Jack Wolf Bionic Jack there, that one does come in at $350 and is going to have an asterisk next to it, and I will infill for that knife. Next up, we got the Remet Falcon here, and I love Remet, what they're doing. They're doing a solid job. This thing is crazy as hell. M390 steel. We have this Tanto, very low tip Tanto blade, and then it's got this fuller that runs into a cutout, into a front flipper. The M390 is done well, in my opinion, and I've seen it fare very well. They do this kind of blasted finish with a mirrored look to it. Looks good. I'd love to see some satin from them and keep this finish, and they might have satin. I just haven't seen it, I don't think, in my hand at least. But I love this finish, and I can't wait to see what they do in 2025 because they got some really cool ideas over there. We have a lightning anode titanium inlay, titanium handle, backspacer, and pocket clip. This is an inset liner lock. great access to that liner, and then you have the ability to also use the pivot, which is going to be a button pivot style lock. So you have the ability to use the liner or the pivot in this case, and that makes this knife just very fun and fidgety. And I believe this is a version 2 because they added a lock that seemingly works very well. So this is a version 2, and that's what you should expect on the new ones. Very, very awesome design from Remet. They have a lot of cool tricks up their sleeve, I think, for us in 2025. So this is where it started getting really hard, getting into these last 5. And coming in at number 5, the Vosteed Psyop. LMAX steel, drop point blade. This one is PVD coated, contoured titanium handles, using their button compression lock or their top liner lock as they call it. Cutout and front flipper for the deployment. Very solid action and a very dependable, strong lock. Great EDC knife, nice large choil up here, and you have a long milled tie clip. Wish that was a little shorter, but not a huge deal at the end of the day. Titanium geared backspacer there. Just a really well done knife from Vosteed, and can't wait to see what they have in store for us in 2025. I believe there are a couple variations of this knife available as well. And if it looks intriguing, better hop on that one because they probably won't last too long. Coming in at number 4, the Artisan Cutlery Wizard. This knife could have been higher. Had this had a better sharpening choil, this might have won my knife of the year. We're looking at S90V with that beautiful sand polish finish. Drop point, very nice, very slicey, very thin blade. We have dual thumb studs for deployment and a front flipper. They have several different variations of this knife. This is a Damascus kit here again with the pivot collars, inlay, pocket clip, filler tab, backspacer, pocket clip, and our other inlay and pivot collar there. Just a beautiful, beautiful knife, and a knife that I carried almost a quarter of the year straight. Just love this knife. Wish they would have added a little better sharpening choil on this one, but the Artisan Cutlery Wizard and any series, I handled a couple, any of the versions are going to be phenomenal. So I had the pleasure of handling the Mamba V3 earlier in 2024. Got to use the hell out of it. And about a month ago or so, Off Grid released their Scorpion V3s. And I handled the V2 and M390. Best tech here again on the OEM. Just a fantastic job for a cutting tool. If you're looking for a cutting tool, Off Grid is a great place to look at because that's what they are designing over there. We're looking at MagnaCut again, nice drop point style blade and beautiful finish on there, nice working finish. We have a titanium handle. There are a couple different variations of this you can choose from. And then we have carbon fiber inlays that are separated. I think it looks great. We have a deep carry recessed titanium fold over clip and a nice long milled tie backspacer there that does have jimping up the spine. Very well executed. This is a great size, and I know it's going to continue performing well. It's already done very, very good, but I know it'll keep performing well because I have a bunch of Best Tech MagnaCut, and it does very well for me personally. And the Off Grid knife Scorpion and the Mamba, both two of my favorite knives of the entire year. So I don't got to go real far for the last 3. I've been just carrying the hell out of these, and I'm not sure if these are available yet, but they will be soon if they're not. The Kaiser Hawk here, they are doing such a fantastic job there at Kaiser, just really pushing things to a new level. This comes in M390. It has a satin finished DLC sheep's foot style blade, or call it a drop point. I wouldn't mind. We have a nice large generous cutout and a flipper tab for deployment. It has that detent post, so it's just a different animal than a detent ball. It feels different, sounds different. Nice sharpening choil, textured titanium handles. They have micro milling all the way through. Nice large pivot collar, lanyard hole, right hand carry only, sorry fellas and ladies. Titanium geared backspacer, milled tie clip, and then we have micro milling and checkered titanium here. Great access to that inset liner lock. Fantastic knife from Kaiser. Can't wait to see what they have in store for us here in 2025. So these last 5 were just ultimately very tough, and it was tough. So number 2, the Concept Thoth or Thoth. Fantastic design from Greg Schaub and a incredible build from Concept. We have a beautiful drop point style blade. It's like a modified drop point sheep's foot trying to become a drop point. I don't know what it is, but it works so well in just normal everyday life. We're looking at 20 CV. We have a satin finish with a nice large cutout. Some people were complaining it didn't have a second deployment, but then you'd have people who complain that it has that flipper or front flipper. So you can't win. Wish the sharpening choil was a little better. That was my main gripe with this knife, and there's no left hand love. We have a right hand only milled tie clip, titanium for the entire handle and backspacer, and then this one has very nice carbon fiber for the bolster look, but then we have titanium for a pivot collar. Just a really beautiful knife, and Concept is one of them companies that has just really stepped it up this year. Love what they are doing and looking forward to what they have for us in 2025. Number 1, like I said, I struggled, but I ultimately put the Real Steel Hoeft there. I've been just using the piss out of this, carrying the hell out of it. I know this particular version is a little bit more expensive, but we are looking at Mars Valley fat carbon fiber here with polished titanium bolsters, and it is a full titanium frame lock. We have a titanium backspacer and then a lower mounted titanium clip. We have a two-tone finished drop point blade in S35, nice large choil and dual thumb studs for deployment, and we have a new lock on this thing. It is a button lock that is using 2 plunges. I yet to pull this thing apart, and I have to, but so far it seemingly is a very durable lock. You have this bar running through this piece of steel here and a nice large stop pin. This thing is built like an absolute tank, especially for pressure going into the blade. Love what this knife is all about and what Real Steel is doing over there. Fantastic job from them all year long, along with the rest of these companies. Just outstanding work from so many. And like I said, this list was very hard to put together. If you have any input, anything you think should be in here, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I look forward to spending another year with all of you. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I release daily videos just like this. I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.